Oh, I wanted to talk too about a book that I was given by my friend Teresa at one of the high school reunions I went to a few years back. Foods That Harm and Foods That Heal. It's really a good book. Um, there are so many things that we can do just in the food we eat. Um, like I said earlier, Angela's also eating a lot of food that kills the parasites, and I'm actually trying to work on all that too. And you know, as word to the wise for younger people, maybe I could have had less sugar or carbs because as I got older, not only did it put on weight, but it causes problems with your teeth and gums. So just saying, you know, and stress can cause a lot of things too, but there's a lot of things that we can counteract with the stress, see. So I'm just like trying to let people know that getting older is not as bad as you might think, but it's not easy. But you know what? Being a young person is difficult too. And I want to be thankful for the fact that when I was younger, even though I've never made a lot of money, I always had enough money to go out and have fun with my friends and go do fun things. Not all the time, but regarding my hobbies and play tennis and the whole acting thing, which became more of a profession, which that's, even though I've never made a lot of money at it, it's been fun too. And moving back and forth out to LA, which I can't afford to do right now, but they're having a lot of troubles out there right now anyway. Or it just like everywhere, but the bigger the city and the more people, the more problems. But basically, the younger people coming up, they're really having a hard time because a lot of them cannot afford to have fun anymore. They have to work a lot of jobs and they're struggling with all their, either credit card debt or student loans or just everything, like just paying the bills like we all are. And as you get older, like what happened to me, your income goes down and then you're struggling too. But not to say we have to use the word challenging. I'm using the word challenging instead of struggling because that sounds better. And sometimes challenges are good. So, but this is a big time for me. And this too shall pass, as they say. These are the times that try men's souls. But I will say that when I was younger, it was a little easier to have fun. It was cheaper to have fun. We even used to go out disco dancing to places where ladies drank free and you could just dance all night and dance your cares away and burn all the calories up too from any drinks you had, or they had free buffets. And we used to go to a really fun place called Studebaker's, which was really fun too. And they had like a big pink Studebaker in the middle of the place over in Dallas. But lots of clubs like that. We had country western places like Bell Star and all kinds of things to do. And so I guess that said, I mean, it's a challenging time we live in. And but Angela's got a lot of details about the parasites, and it goes a lot beyond surface level with that too. Um, it affects a lot of things with people, and anyway, I'll let her explain it. I mean, I may explain it another day. I want to talk to her about it first before I get on here with it. But she's got a lot of good insight into all that, and I just am trying to make the best of things. My ideal place to live would be a beach house, I think. I mean, I love the beach. I love the water. I love the beach. I would love that. I guess I would. I mean, unless I'm like somewhere in Florida where the crocodiles come right up to your house and knock on your door, which looks kind of scary. Or, because because I was just afraid the other night there was like a little spider, and I had to hit it with a plastic bottle of Comet or whatever, spick and span. But anyways, it's like you know, we do have some bugs here, which I found out the baking soda will get rid of them too, less toxic, and you can mix borax with it and put like in little coffee filters up in your cupboard or something. But yes, any older building will have that in Texas, because, and you still have to do monthly sprayings too. But it's the older buildings and the humidity in Texas. And we've had a lot of rain lately too. So, but yeah, so I guess like in LA, well, they have had sharks. Of course, they have sharks down at the Texas coast. I've thought about moving to Corpus Christi someday. But, you know, it is nice when you live at a beach or just travel to the beach. I love the water. I love the way it makes you feel to hear the waves. Of course, you can listen to that and you can watch all that. There is a channel called the Bossa Nova Beach Cafe, and you can watch that on YouTube and go to sleep to it, or just like relax to it and pretend that you're there, because it's so beautiful. You're just like sitting in a beach cafe. I mean, that would be my perfect romantic evening or day with someone, to just be hanging out at a beach cafe right on the water. And you know, just basically we need to maybe use our actor's imagination, even if we're not actors. I mean, I learned how to use that with Joanne Linville. She taught us how to get into our actor's imagination. You create the scene. Once you create the scene for yourself and you live in the moment and live in the place, you've already sort of got it. And then with your props and everything, you sort of have it already. And then you kind of become that character. And then I learned in other classes, you think of like the before and the after, so you have something to deal with your now, basically the moment before, whatever happened before, that sort of adds, because when you're an actor, you want to have a character that's got some depth. You don't just want to be like a shallow character, like a hollow person, you know. So that's all, but we can use our actor's imagination even if we're not actors. And if you want more information about all this, I can also teach you acting classes, even if you don't ever want to even pursue making a living at it, which is pretty challenging, although making a living at anything now is getting kind of challenging. But anyway, so, but it helps you with everyday life, like dealing with stressful moments and remaining calm. Like I learned at Joanne Linville Studio too, that just like in life, the calm character has the power. The person that is easily triggered and kind of loses it, that person loses their power, and they're giving their power away. But once you learn how to not let things trigger you and stay in control, you have more power. So these are the times that TriMen Soul, but we're getting through it. And just think, you could be my age or battling all kinds of, like getting older and everything, and I don't have a mate. I've been a romanticist all my life, and yet I can never seem to finish a script or even start them. It's kind of upsetting. If I meet the Mr. Right, I promised to write some romantic scripts. If I can get away from him, maybe he'll be so amorous and everything. We'll be busy, but and not with celery. We're gonna just be busy ourselves, okay? So or anything, that's a whole nother. Oh, what a life. You have to be creative to get through this world, let me tell you. So anyway, that's all. That said, goodbye, good night, and good luck. No, that's the name of a movie. Oh, and that was the one that I guess George Clooney is in a Broadway show in now, but he had the movie on that, I believe. Okay, so I think that was the year he came out with his tequila. But so, but I'm kind of over the whole Brad Pitt thing now, although I am curious about what he's doing and all the other ones, but mainly him because it is so strange that he had at one point more imposters than any other celebrity. He had like 200 or 300 or more. And like I said, I heard from at least 100 of them. And it was flattering at first, you know, to pretend that you know, he's like wanting to go out and all this stuff. They took it to a totally next level stuff. I mean, and then until they asked for the phone card or a bunch of money for headshots or a meeting, you know, with a top director or something. I mean, obviously the imposters don't know anything about how the film business works. Or maybe they do, you know, I don't know. Maybe they know something I don't because, you know, I've always had to audition, get my agents to submit me, and then I've submitted myself for roles and be chosen by the casting director to audition for the producers or whoever. You know, it's challenging to get, I mean, it can be to even get seen in the right rooms and everything. And you can also get pigeonholed, or if they don't see your work in a certain way and they've never seen you as a certain character, they sort of box you in. And then also when they find out your real age. Now the last time, let me think a minute, I've had a number of auditions and everything, but the last time I was actually on a set and in a regular role was a long time ago, about 4 years ago, 5 years ago even. 4 to 5 years ago when I was in the Bob Zula as the mom, the strict mom, and I played a character who was actually 40. So, and that's somewhat younger than I am right now, and then some again. So I guess I still look younger, although they did a lot of makeup, like airbrush, you know, the dark circles, which I've had since I was a little kid, but, you know, complete, you know, hair and makeup and, you know, lots of, you know, good styling. Still pretty chubby then. I used to be slimmer too. At least the first time I moved out to Hollywood, I was actually in my 40s and I was a lot slimmer then. And that's when I told you I met that Harry Weinstein. Is that his? Yeah, that's his name. I've forgotten. Been there, done that. It's like I just got away from him. I was able to talk my way away from him. I'm not going to go into all the details right now, but it was supposedly going to be a party and it didn't work out. So I just talked my way out of it. But see, I come from a different generation of women, you know, older. We just talked our way out of stuff or got away from people. Or you could defend yourself physically if you had to. At the time, I was in better shape, so I probably could have done something, you know, like, you know, I used to go to the gym a lot, and I've always swam and played tennis. Yeah, I used to swim a lot more then because at the time I lived in a complex where they had this marvelous pool that was heated year round, and I was able to swim a lot. At least, and I walked to the beach a lot too. I would walk quite a ways to the beach and do a lot of things. So get a lot of exercise like that. And even doing extra work or subbing was a lot of exercise, a lot of stairs. A lot of schools didn't have like elevators or anything, and run up and down stairs, especially if you're like a roving sub. And then extra work, we have to walk all over the place. But I've had to walk a lot just to find the auditions too sometimes. So, but that said, yeah, just kind of like, we'll get through this. We have to sort of maybe all reinvent, not all of us, some of us have planned better for our lives or our futures or whatever, but everybody has challenges. But I guess if you don't like the way your life is going, maybe reinvent yourself. Get on YouTube and just try it. Actually, in all honesty, I still haven't made money with YouTube yet, but you never know. You might. You have to get up to, I think now 500 subscribers. So please like and subscribe, and then you can at least get something that would help me with some of my bills. And but it used to be you had to get like 1,000 subscribers and a certain amount of views, which I think you still have to do that. But it does sort of help you talking to people and sharing things with people. It will help you because let's face it, we all listen to each other, and I can actually help someone else solve their problems more easily than I can even solve my own. So if you ever have problems, I thought about this earlier when I saw this cute little Christmas ornament. It's I guess it's Lucy. Is that Lucy from Charlie Brown and Snoopy? She's like offering advice, but basically, most people are like that. They can offer more objective and clear-cut advice for someone else, whereas it's harder. You're too close to the situation sometimes to help yourself with your own problems. But I will have to give kudos to Angela Shelton because she is really good about healing from childhood trauma because she went through that herself. And then she came out with that movie, Searching for Angela Shelton. And then it took me a while to get up the nerve to talk to her about it because I just had a feeling that once I did, I would have to share more about what I went through. And sharing it helps because when you're a child, it's not your fault if an adult acts inappropriately, and that's like, to put it mildly, and oftentimes, it's more than just inappropriate, but not to go into all that right now. But it's tough, and it's not easy, okay? And, but when you realize that it wasn't your fault, it wasn't because you just looked too cute in your little ballerina outfit or whatever, and you're only like, 10 years old or something. It's just not your fault, and you have to quit blaming yourself. And you have to realize that these people, they don't know boundaries, and they don't realize they're trying to take advantage of children, even if it's their own or something, because they just, back in the olden days, they maybe saw their children as like property or something. And the child is more helpless, whereas I was reading up about it. I've got a lot of books on it, on the subject, but sometimes men that are afraid to speak up to women of their own age will like try to in some way act inappropriate with kids, or they're just have a bad temper and scream at them and act overpowering. Even if they're not inappropriate, they're still overly strict and really scary acting, and because they feel like, well, I'm tough and so I can at least intimidate a child, or a young woman, versus maybe they feel in some ways they can't stand up to women their own age. So I've read that in many books. I've got lots of books on the subject. So it's interesting. I mean, I think psychology is interesting. So I just think that a lot of people should study psychology and learn more about it too. It helps you, And so anyway, well, I guess, and pray a lot. Prayers help, okay, a lot. So, okay, well, I'm going to go now, and maybe I was feeling kind of lonely tonight, and I just thought, well, I can always talk to my video, talk to people and then help somebody out there. I know I should do more lives, and I plan to. Right now, it's a little bit lopsided, my little iPad on the tripod, but at least my cat has settled down. That's a miracle in and of itself. So that's all. Just hang in there, guys. And we're on a news cycle where every 2 seconds it's something different. but it was always kind of like that. But the internet made it more so, you know. I remember growing up as a little bitty kid, and when we first got our black and white TV and then the color TV, where we were just so enamored, and it became a whole nother world. And you know, it's just different. We have a different. It's different from when my grandmother, you know, grew up. So but it is what it is, and the internet, of course, makes things more challenging, but it also makes it more interesting in the fact that we can find out so many things about so many different cultures, and about people from all over the world, and but yeah, when it gets to be late at night, try not to watch too many news channels on YouTube or whatever channel you watch, just to kind of decompress and calm down before you go to sleep. Okay, well, take care, everybody. Over and out. Okay, bye.